Bam, yo, what is going on, everybody? Streets Cartel in the building. We got JPOTTS from the West Side, Texas in the building. Welcome, JPOTTS. Thank you very much for coming on, bro.
What's up, brother? What's up?
So, man, I got a lot of shit I want to touch up on you with, but let's take it from the top, bro. Tell me a little bit about your humble beginnings, man, like how you got into motorsports in general.
All right. So I'd say started around 2015, bro. Got heavy into cars. Done cars professionally for the last several years. Got into bikes. I'd say probably about 3 years ago.
Okay.
It's all just been progression from there, bro. I still do the cars heavily. Now the bikes are an addition too. So,
Do you have a preference when it comes to cars or American, like, does it matter, or Japanese?
I mainly support domestic, so Dodge, Chevy, shit like that.
Okay, okay. Have you been riding all of your life or
It was dirt bikes when I was younger, and then the street bikes came around completely 3 years ago.
really?
Yep.
So that little of a time.
That's it, bro. I jumped on it. So when I got my first bike, man, I didn't even know how to turn the motherfucker on, bro. I had to YouTube that bitch. Got it fired up.
Really?
Yep. Got that motherfucker fired up. Every night, bro. Got home from work. Practice, 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 practice. Started going to the tunnels, race. I was determined.
Man, that's fun. Yo, one thing that I've realized with a lot of the roll racers, man, like even shout out to my man Joey. He's only been doing it a year, but guess what? He was like you. He rode dirt bikes, four wheelers, and stuff like that. So he had the background of riding on two wheels. You know what I'm saying? For quite some time previous to actually getting on a bike. You know what I mean? So I think that helps.
It
Just
does. It does. The motor skills and being able to jump on it and just go and do your thing.
No, 100%, 100%. And all right, so you started riding, man. You started racing. At what stage did you feel like, you know what, man? I want more. I want more power. I want to start getting into doing this myself. Where was the change that made you want to get into tuning bikes?
Bro, I would say like it's probably a problem that I have. It's always about power. I even more than racing, man, I enjoy the science behind it and trying to push a machine to its limits and achieve the most that I can out of it. The racing is the second part for me. It's cool. I like going out racing with the homies, having a good time, but it's more about chasing the power numbers and seeing what I can extract out of the machine. It's always been like that, even with the cars. I just I like figuring them out.
Okay, okay, okay. So it's a challenge thing for you as well.
It is. I'm one of those guys, bro. Like every day I wake up, I like to figure shit out. I like to push myself to be the best that I can. If we're not making improvements every day, then what are we doing?
100%. We should try to make ourselves better every day, bro. You know what I'm saying? And push ourselves to do more every day.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Are you living or are you existing? Is what I
That's right.
say.
That's right.
It's very simple, bro. So all right, so you get into bikes. How long did you actually stay stock motor before you felt like you needed more? Did that come relatively quick to you?
Bro, I would say it lasted about a year, and then it was always a little bit more, a little bit more. Um, the whole motor thing came about. I was actually putting bearings in my motor, man, and I heated the case up, and I had a customer walk in that wanted to talk to me, and I let the case cool off while I was talking to him, and I came back to heat the case up again to pull the bearing out, and whenever I did that, it cracked. So I fucked the case up on that, and in that
Uh,
process, I needed a new one. And I got introduced to Kevin over at KWS, and it's been a downhill slope since then.
Bro, shout out to KWS, man. Carpenter, Eric from Carpenter, his dad, all the builders, man. Like, they all do their things, man. Um, you know what I find interesting is that, like, a lot of the guys that get into it. Oh, actually, did you build motors for cars prior to, or?
Yes, yes, I've been doing that.
So there you go. It's very similar. It's very similar.
It
Just
all rolls over, bro. It's the same shit.
that's pretty dope, bro. I like it when people like. I think almost, I don't know, at least 90% of the people that started in that get into bikes, they started into cars, and it trickled down to, like, I want it because it's a different type of speed.
It
A
is.
hundred percent.
Yeah, for sure. It's a different feeling all the way around.
It's a different. So you also, so you build your stuff as well. Like, so, when you go, when you ship your stuff out to KWF, do you have him build it, or will you do your own building as well?
It depends on what it is and what I got going on. So if it's anything to do with strokers where the cases need to be bored, I'll let Kevin do that. I prefer to let him do all the machine work. Like it's something I know I can count on. It's right every single time. So I let him do that, and then I'll let him ship them over to me. I'll usually do the cylinder head stuff, similar top ends on them. But yeah, it really just depends on what we're getting into.
Okay, okay, I see. But like as far as a set, like head and blocks, you'll do that stuff if need be. You know what I mean? Like it's more the machine work that you need him for, type of deal.
For sure, for sure.
Ah, see, that's different. There's not a lot of guys that will sit there and kind of assemble their own motors and tune. You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely an upper hand, bro, to know what's going on inside of that engine, and especially when you have a failure and you know what you're looking at, you're able to disassemble it, find what actually went wrong. Then the next time you approach it, you know what to do differently. Because failures happen, bro, especially when you're pushing these machines to their limits. I
A
mean,
hundred percent.
you got to find a limit some way. Something's going to break at some point. You got to understand that. So whenever you find that hard limit, being able to inspect it and truly find it yourself, know what you got to adjust, that's great to jump back in it, and you can feel confident about that next one.
So okay, no, that's a super valid point there. So let me ask you this, right? That with that comes a lot of liability. So how do you go about maneuvering, right? Holding yourself accountable for certain things, like when it comes to that, right? Because you gain all this knowledge. At the same token, you're also taking a lot of responsibility when you build and tune, as opposed to a lot of guys that rather just tune and have someone else. They outsource all of their building. How do you get? You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying. So I would say for me, it's definitely about balancing the risk. And I guess the bottom line, bro, is it comes down to the customer and what they truly understand. I'm not gonna bring somebody in. We're gonna put a stroker together, put on nitro meth, and send you out the fucking door. That's gonna be nothing but problems
A
for a
hundred.
build like that. A customer's truly gonna have to understand like what you're getting into. If you're looking at the most extreme side of racing, you got to understand that that comes at a cost. Your shit is gonna break.
There's no guarantee.
Never. I don't care
There's,
how good
there's,
of a tuner you are, how
there's
good
no
of a
guarantee.
builder you are, it's gonna break at some point. I mean, ask
Yeah.
any of the guys that are fast. You put several motors in your bike.
No, 100%. And I agree with you 100% there, bro. I don't think that a lot of these guys, when they get into wanting to build something, and when they get to those intricate builds, man, you guys really need to understand what you're getting yourself into, because the first person they blame is the tuner. And
Always.
you know what I'm saying? Like that's the first person they turn their heads to. But
And
if you're
sometimes it
someone.
is, bro. Sometimes it is.
No, a hundred. Yeah, no, for sure, bro. There's a lot of variables when it comes to shit breaking, right? There's a lot of variables. But as a customer, right, if you have no background, mechanical background, or you've never built anything before, you're more liable to just point fingers instead of being reasonable and being like, well, you know what, man, I built some crazy ass stroker that already has a lifeline.
For
You
sure.
know, you know what I'm saying? And if you're over here, built motor, and you're out racing every weekend, not changing your oil the way you're supposed to, not being mindful the way you're supposed to, what do you think is going to happen?
It's not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well. And that's where it definitely circles back around to, bro, the customer. How much do you understand of what you're truly asking for?
So, are you mindful of who you deal with when it comes to that kind of thing?
I'd say overall, I'm picky in general. The building bikes thing, it's something that I do out of a passion. It's not my means of supporting myself by any means. So if I'm tangled up with somebody, it's mean I like you. I want to do business. Um, my whole deal is like, bro, when I'm working with somebody, in my opinion, you're on my team at that point. I'm going to take care of you in any way, shape, or form that I can. And it's a relationship. And if I don't like you, then we're not going to hit it off. I'm not going to be able to make sure that we're both successful, that you're able to
Yeah.
put on for me and that you're able to have a good machine. So I would say that it definitely comes around to, yeah, how we hit it off and, where we can go with it.
Okay. No, no, that makes a lot of sense, bro. I think that that's very smart of you to do so, right? Instead of chasing the money, because when you start thinking everything as just money, 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 that could cloud your judgment on a lot of different aspects of what you're doing.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And that's when your work starts getting kind of lackluster, I feel like. In
Start
general,
shoving things out the door. Yeah.
yeah, oh fuck it. Nah, he wants a quick tune, fuck it. Well, I don't give a fuck. Did he change his oil? Did he not? I don't care. It's not my problem.
That's right. Yeah. That's where shit goes south.
That's where shit goes south, bro. So, all right, so you start tuning bikes, man, and actually, this is a good one too here. When did you start building? Of course, you started working on your own shit first, right?
Of course.
How long did it take you to build the confidence to start working on others' bike?
Actually, bro, I would say it came pretty quick. I started working on my own stuff, and I have a lot of friends through cars, and they saw the bike stuff, so I started working on theirs, and it gradually just became more and more and more.
Okay, okay. And that so you already had a hand with the car thing, right? So when it came to bikes, you took the same kind of path. You had your friends that kind of, put faith in you with the bikes as well.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that's probably how we all get started, is a couple of friends put a little faith in you, you get out there, you show your talent, a couple other people see it, and before you know it grows into something great.
Got you, got you. So as we spoke offline, you travel and you tune. Um, Shout out to Smurf's Garage as well. So you travel and you do a lot of traveling, tuning. Do you ever consider opening up your shop, or is that something that you inspire to do, or you're good where you're at?
It's something I've had in the past, bro. It's not necessarily something that I'm interested in anymore. Where I'm at these days, bro, I got a couple of shops that I'll tune for, and I'll just move around and take care of everybody. It's really hard to balance. If your main deal that you do is tune, it's very difficult to balance shop and tune. The tuning requires a lot of focus, a lot of attention, making sure that you deliver a perfect product. It all requires a lot of effort.
I
And
agree.
through the years, I've found that trying to balance all that, quality winds up being sacrificed somewhere. Whether it's because you
Mm,
had to get a build out, you had to get a tune out, you had to get a something out. And I'm a perfectionist through and through. I don't my thing that I constantly say in my head, I don't care if the customer's sitting there on my neck. Just like I had one the other day. He was on my neck the whole time we did the tune. In my head, I say it doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as it's perfect. That's it. I don't care if we
100%.
sit on that dyno 10 fucking days. It doesn't matter. As long as the machine is right when it's done, it's all that matters, bro.
Got you, got you. You know what, man? And that's very interesting. I feel like man, just in general, tuners, right? From cars to bikes, I feel like when you do it long enough, right, and you deal because people, man, people are rough. You
They
know,
are, bro. They
people
are.
could be hard to fucking deal with, man. And I feel like a lot of the tuners and builders, you can grow a disdain for what you do. So when you lose the
Bad
passion,
attitude in general, bro. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, when you lose the passion for what you do, man, it makes it hard to just maneuver, man, around. You know what I'm saying? This is something actually that I spoke to Reap about because Reap is very talented, but he doesn't want. I told him, I'm like, hey, you could do this full time if you want to, but for him if he does it full time, it might take away from the passion of working on your own stuff.
For sure.
Because when you start doing so many people and it's such a headache and shit like that, you may not want to work on your own stuff at the end of the day, bro.
Yeah, you're done with the stress, bro. The machine's fighting. I mean, that's what they do. None of this shit ever goes perfect. It's always about figuring out the problem. And I would say that that's probably the biggest deal of tuning, besides, understanding what the engine's going on, being able to truly understand what it's doing, figuring out what it needs to make it happy, and keeping it alive in the long end. Because just because it made good power on the dyno doesn't mean that shit's gonna work on the street.
100%.
But I would say what makes a good tuner is being able to be a diagnostic tech, being able to figure out the problem quickly, efficiently, figuring out what's wrong with the machine. But not only that, so I would say, everybody comes in for a tune and they think, oh, he made X amount of dollars, he's rolling in the money, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, I mean, a lot of times if a machine goes great, sure, that's nice, bro. That did go good. But I would say maybe only 1 out of 10 go flawless. You know, they all come in, they have problems. You got to figure them out. And you're doing all that on your own dime because whenever you hit me up for a tune, you didn't know your machine had problems. I didn't know your machine had problems. We get it
Yeah.
up on the dyno, we start trying to run it, trying to tune it. Now we got to figure out all the issues, get it put back together, get it done quickly, and then we can finally tune.
Yeah, and that's all. Next thing you know, you're behind the eight ball on your hourly wage because you spent so much time on the machine trying to figure out what was going on with it and stuff like that. And one thing that you're specializing in is BMW, and we all know that BMWs, man, you
That's the
know,
problem child, baby.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? The wrong, the sky is dark and fucking BMW throws an engine light. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yep.
Like it's weird. BMWs are something. It's different, bro. What made you? What lured you into to the B? Oh, actually, did you have the BMW before your Jigsaw? Did which came first?
The Gixxer came first. So I was working over with Alex at Texas Superbikes for a little bit, and he serviced a lot of BMWs, man. And I just fell in love with them. I loved them, man. So went ahead, saved up, bought one that next year, and then dude, that machine's been nothing but problems its entire ownership. It's always given me issues, but it's one of those deals that, like, when it's good, it's really, really good. So I just battle it out, dug it out with it, you know, get it to where it'll work, and then it's good. So, but yeah, it's always an issue with that thing.
Bro, and you know what, man? I am a big fan of BMWs in general. I love my K46. I think it's with time, machines grow and it's just an outdated bike, depending on, you know what I'm saying? If you weigh 100 pounds, then it's still going to be competitive in a half a mile race,
For sure.
but in the bigger picture of things, the K46 it's still an amazing bike through and through to ride. I think BMW does a great job building these machines, but when you start fucking around, because they're not built to roll race,
No,
so
for sure.
that's once you get past the point of like bolt-ons, it's a different animal all the way
That's
around.
right. Nothing but problems after that. Bolt-ons in a tune, you're good. Anything after, expect the issues.
So what made you want to keep pushing that platform? You
You know,
you
bro,
must have really liked it. You
I
must have really.
do. I do. It's the riding experience of the BMW, bro. I don't know. For me, you know, I ride all different types of bikes tuning. For me, nothing compares to the S1000, to the K67 platform. I just love the bike. I love the way it feels. I love the power band. It's just a great motorcycle to me.
So okay, speaking of power band, did you even in the early stages did you feel like the BMW lacked top end at all? That's a big
Um,
thing with the K67s.
you know, I would say when I started out, so I had an interesting path with my BMW to begin with. When I started out, I bought it, and the whole bike was a weird deal. It's a 23, but it has a 22 um, ECU in it for whatever reason, right? So when the bike came out, Woolwich allowed me to access it because it was pulling up as a 22, even though it was a 23. But it had problems. It was missing some torque tables in the rear of it. And so the bike would do great up until it got into sixth gear and it would nose over every time.
Mm.
And from that point, there was nothing I could do with the bike. Like you can only work with the tools that you have at the time. So I wound up working with Carita for a little while after that. And it was stock motor. The bike ran great, man. I had a great time with it. I had no problems with it on the top end, I would say.
Okay, shout out to Karita, man. Kevin's a great
Sure.
guy. Shout
Shout
out to
out to him, bro.
He's very knowledgeable on those BMWs, man.
But he
Outside
is.
of you, I don't think I know anyone that fucks with BMWs heavy like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to NWP Dave. He's getting into BMWs, but between you guys fuck with BMWs heavy, bro. Like Jesus, I don't. It's a big headache, and I think that's why I almost feel like right, like you have other platforms that are so easy to make power. Why go the road less traveled?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why go the road less traveled? when you started getting deep into the BMW, right? But before we get into like the nitro talk, what was your fuel of choice that you felt like worked the best for that bike?
My fuel of choice is always methanol, bro.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care. That's what I prefer. Um, it's a tricky fuel. Once you get it down though, and you know the quirks of it, I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. That's my preference. I'm sure everybody has their own. You know, some guys like
Yeah.
E85, some guys like MR12. Mine's
Yeah.
methanol. Man, me and that fuel get along really well.
So okay, so how long did you play around with nitro before you really felt comfortable doing it on customers' bikes or other people's bikes uh, besides your own?
I would say the nitro stuff started coming around about a year and a half ago. Honestly, bro, I dumped that shit in the Gixxer's built motor and just went for it. It's one of those things that it takes full commitment, man. Like you're not going to be able to half step that shit. If you jump in there and you fuck up, that's it. You didn't get no
You're
chance.
done.
It's a little forgiving on the dyno. You can get away with experimenting on the dyno, running it through the gears, but as soon as you get on the street and you start stretching it out, this shit makes a lot of heat, man. And if you don't manage it, you'll burn the motor up. And that's all there is to it, you know? So I would say as far as doing customer stuff, that comes down to, again, a deep conversation with the customer and understanding what you're truly asking for. Because another thing with the Nitro, man, is it's so dependent on, especially on a stock computer with no fuel compensation. That is a difficult thing to achieve. That
Actually,
requires the fuel mix to be exactly the same every time. I mean, there's no room for error there. Both me and the customer have to be on the same page.
let me ask you this. So you have tuned night. So that's very interesting. So you have tuned nitro bikes with no fuel system.
No, no, they all have to have a fuel system, but on the stock
Okay.
ECU.
On a stock. Okay. To clarify that. Okay.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. So fuel system is a complete necessity.
100%.
Okay. But on a stock motor, they gotta understand what the fuck they're getting into here.
That's right. That's right. So stock motor, that's never something that I would offer to a customer on a stock motor. I do it on my shit, but I know what I'm asking for. You know, I'm
Yeah.
okay with pulling my motor out on a Sunday night, fixing it, and being ready to go again that next Sunday or whatever we're gonna do. But
Yeah.
that's not something I would recommend to anybody.
Hmm. I think that right. So interesting enough, which is something we spoke on the other day. Um, right, there's a lot of levels to this roll race stuff, right? Like, if you are someone that likes to daily drive your bike, right, and you actually want to enjoy, and you only have one bike, you know, a max effort bike is not realistic for you.
That's right. That's not for you.
You can't. I think there's a lot of these guys, man, that you have to figure out what it is that you want for the platform that you have.
That's
if you
right.
if you want a max effort, then you're not going to ride it every day. You know what I'm saying? You could sit there and you can have something that you could ride on MR12 or C85, something like that, that you could still ride every day with a different map, or, a 93 map or so on and so forth. You could cut all the weight you want on something like that, but understand that once you want to get to that level of 330s or under, and I'm talking about really ride your bike, bro. You know what I'm saying? An hour, 2 hours away, whatever the fuck you want to do, you can do with it. You can't do that shit when you have a fuel cell that has 1.5. You know
Full
what
of
I'm saying?
methanol. Yeah, full of
You know what
methanol.
I'm saying? So
It ain't gonna
I,
happen.
I think the realism, people need to be a little bit more realistic on what they want and what they're asking for.
That's typically always my first question too. Whenever I'm rolling into a new build with the customer, is like, what do you really want out of this? Because a lot of people, I'll get multiple messages a week. Hey, I want to do M5. All right, bro. Do you really know what you're asking for? Do you realize it's
Yeah,
going to burn fuel at twice the rate if you did your gasoline? You're not going to ride it around. You might not even make it to the meets. Whenever I take my race bikes out, I got to have a fuel card that follows me on the highway, man. Like we make our passes, pull over, put gas in it, make our
yeah.
passes again. Like, what are you truly trying to achieve here? If you want to be the baddest, yeah, we can work towards that. But you got to understand, just like you said, you're not going to ride that shit all around town.
And you know, I think that M5, you know, Nitro has been like a big topic as of late. You know what I'm saying? And
For sure.
you know, the guys that have known about it, the guys that like, I think the guys that some of the tuners that I know that do grudge racing, you know, they tune a lot of grudge bikes. They've been knowing about this type of shit. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying? Now that it's trickling down to the street bikes, right? Which what you consider a street bike is very broad nowadays, right? Like it's very very broad. So if you know, once again, you're not, if you think that you're gonna go out on the street and ride that shit, man, and think it's gonna last on a stock motor on M5 or Nitro, that's not, you might as well build a stroker bike at that point, right? Because you might get, you're just not gonna, it's not gonna last.
That's right.
Depending on how much you ride it, but like, you know, in a,
It's got a
just
shelf
a,
life. It's got a shelf life, bro.
it's got a shelf life,
Yep.
exactly. Exactly. So if you were to sit here and say to the audience, like, hey, you know, what would you prefer to tune if it's someone that is a rider, they do ride their bike on a daily basis, and they want that extra power from a fuel, what would you recommend?
And it's heavily dependent on the bike, bro. And you know, first, you know, what make and model we're dealing with. Every bike's different on what it performs on. The customer's budget, you know, maybe they're not going to want to run around on MR12 whenever they want to race. Maybe they want something a little more cost friendly, like C85. But you know, if we ride around on a ZX10, C85 is a great option. If we ride
Yeah,
around on S1000, sure, we can make C85 work, but MR12 is going to work a little bit better in that particular machine.
bro, my K46 from 93 to MR12, I didn't even want to ride that thing on 93 anymore, bro.
I know that's the biggest deal. Is once you feel the power, you don't ever want to take a step back.
No.
That's why I
Oh
don't
my.
have a nitrous bike. I love nitrous, but
Do you really?
I love nitrous, bro. I do nitrous shit all the time, but I don't do it on my personal stuff because as soon as I hit the button and I feel it, I want it to feel like that or better. That's my deal too, bro. It's a lot of times like people talk shit about me because I take my bikes apart all the time to try and make them faster. Well, once I take it out and I race it, I got the feel for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't do it for me anymore. I want it to go a little bit faster the next time that I'm out. I want
Yeah.
to get excited, you know?
And
And,
that's part of the game.
it is, bro. It is.
So that's all right. So great. That's a great segue there. So speaking on that, right? This year you get to Vegas, man. You know what I mean? And you were there, you had both your bikes there, man. You were fucking focused, right? Like you did what you had to do there. You you know what I'm saying? Win, lose, or draw. What was your biggest takeaway from Vegas this past year?
You know, I would say that it probably looks from the outside in like Vegas was a failure for myself and my team when we went out
That's
there.
never that. It's never a
But
failure.
Vegas, no, no, no. Yeah, but I would say we learned more while we were in Vegas this year than any other time. We picked up a lot of shit. Now, whenever we went out there, we were dealt a set of cards that just didn't fall in our favor, bro. Like I hurt the motor a couple of weeks before Vegas doing some testing on it. I had to rip the motor out, send it off to KWS for some repairs. It took a little bit longer than we anticipated. Motor came back. We chunked it in the bike. We got to test it, and we made some upgrades while it was there. That was probably a mistake. Looking back
Oh,
on it,
while you were in Vegas?
yeah, no, no, no. While the motor was at KWS, we made some
Okay.
upgrades. I always do that to myself, bro. When it's apart, I don't like to spend in my mind. I don't like to spend the same money twice. If I'm going to
Mm,
spend the money again, like let me get something different. Let me try
yeah.
to make a little bit more power while I'm there. So I did that in my typical fashion. And when it came back, we needed to make adjustments in the tune. And the bike definitely went faster when it went back together. But like I said, we only had 2 sessions out on it. It was a stock ECU bike, so for power management, man, we really only have throttle mapping. And when it comes down to that, bro, you either nail it or you miss it. There's no correction,
Yeah.
there's no nothing. You know what I mean? You make the
Yeah.
pass, and it either stuck or it didn't. And if it lights it up, man, you're fucked. The race is over, especially in a motorbike race. You know,
Yeah.
if the other dude's stuff is on point too, you're done. You pull it over, it's over. You know, but Anyway, so we got it in there. We went out and tested. We definitely didn't get the numbers we were wanting on the draggy, so we knew beforehand that it was going to be a little rough. We jumped out there with Brett. Shout out to Brett. We had a great time racing him, man. He's a great sport all the way
He
around.
is.
We tried him a few times, kept lighting the tire up. I was having a problem. So I had my throttle maps reduced in first and second gear, and I was going wide open throttle in third. And every time I would click into third, it would light the tire up. And that was
Really.
just,
Yeah.
I couldn't
Too
get
much
it to
power.
slow down. Yeah, I was pouring it on too quickly. And so ultimately, bro, we saw that we just didn't have our program in line. You know, we came out there to race everybody, but it, if the bike ain't working, like, bottom line, I'm not making donations to anybody. I want to race you, but I'm not going to make a donation if I don't think the machine's capable. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, this past year, it wasn't capable. We knew we needed a couple more things, so we got our notepad out, our pen, and started making notes for what we needed. I brought the bike home. When we got back from Vegas, man, I didn't even sleep yet. When we got back home from the trip, I put that thing in the garage. I completely stripped it down to the frame and the motor, and
Overnight parts from Japan.
yeah, like everything came off. I had my list of everything that needed to go back on. It was ordered the next day, and she's back together. Hopefully, we'll be tuning on it this next week, if not the following week, and we're ready to try again this year.
See, bro, and you see you approach that the right way, man. You don't take an L in something like that, right? You pay the price, but what
For the
you gain
knowledge.
from knowledge
That's
was
right.
well worth it.
It's part of the game, bro. It's part of the game. We all take L's. And I'm never one to shy away from them, bro. Take that ass whooping and keep on going. It's part of it, man. If you can't take that ass whooping, just put the bike up. Like, nobody wants to hear that crybaby shit.
Nah, bro, and I think that in someone in your space, right, where you do this right and you make a living from it, we're in a place now where it's not what you say you can do, it's what you can prove.
100%.
So the better you get at tuning, the better you get with Nitro, the better you get with these machines, the more you attract the audience, the roll racers, so on and so forth. And I think that if you're not willing to take those risks, right, because to race at the level that you're racing at, it takes money. You're not just gonna race for free.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that a lot of the guys in your shoes need to understand, that it's a new day now. You know what I'm saying? And you can only do so much if you're not willing to prove against the other big guys what you're capable of.
For sure. For sure. We can't all be out racing stock motorbikes with our built motorbikes thinking we're putting in work.
No, no. And once again, you learned and your progression. I can't wait to see what you bring to the table this year in Vegas, bro. I think if there's, like I told you, on our previous conversation, I saw you, man. You were fucking focused.
I
You
was,
you
bro.
you
We had to figure it out.
you were all over
Had
the
to
fucking
figure it
place.
out, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And once you told me the backstory, it made even more sense. You know what I mean? It definitely it made more sense. So, have you ever traveled to the east at all to race or no?
No, I haven't.
Are you open to doing so, or you don't
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
of
it's worth
course.
it for
Of
you?
course. Of course. We'll
Yeah,
try to make it to every big meet we can this year.
really.
For sure.
Mm. Because that's something that like I think about a lot. Is like I do feel like the West Coast, especially right now, um, in the climate that we're in, you guys just have the roads to be able to really enjoy a event.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that there may be some places in the East Coast that weren't that same ideology of we do have clear roads to be able to host a full on event. You know what I mean? Um, but man, I was asked yesterday, have I been to a spot like Vegas? No, I haven't, bro. Like that was like a
There's
full
nothing
fucking
like it,
week.
bro. Yeah.
That was a full fucking week of racing. Not one car.
Tent set up on the side of the highway and all.
Tents, bro.
Yeah.
People grilling.
Barbecue.
You know what I'm saying? Like people grilling. Like it was a party out there. You're not doing that in Miami.
No, for sure. You're not doing that anywhere else, man. There's nothing like that place.
And that's gonna be a really hard bill to foot, man. You know what I'm saying? So as like even with my events, I definitely want to host some on the East Coast, bro. But I have to be really mindful because the roll racing part of it, bro. I don't want to see anybody get bagged. I don't want to see bikes getting towed. Because let's be real, like I just registered my first bike in I don't know how many years, bro, under my own name, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you
for
don't,
sure.
this just not a real, that's not a thing, So I don't want to see anybody getting in trouble, bro, because out in Florida, they're not playing games over there. You know what I'm saying? They take your bike, you're probably not even going to get it back, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I feel like the West Coast right now, it's kind of like, man, safety, all things considered, it's a sure bet, but it makes fucking hard, man, to take a 20+ hour ride.
Yeah, for a shitty scenario. It sucks for all of us, bro, when we travel out there and the spot's not what we wanted it to be or whatever. So shout out to everybody that's been able to put on these events, man. Great roads, safe spots.
Yeah,
Being able to go out and have a good time. I mean, there's a lot of effort behind all that. So shout out to all you guys for making that shit happen.
no, 100%. What year was the first year you went out to Vegas?
First year in Vegas was 2 years ago.
How was that? How did you feel when you first went there?
It was
How
good,
did you feel
bro.
about it?
It was good. I would say, the built motor bike shit in general is becoming way, way, way more popular over the last 2 years. So there wasn't a lot of that out there. Um, that year that I went. So I wound up racing a bunch of stock motor bikes or mildly built bikes. And, the bike
Right.
obviously did well in those scenarios. And I would say this past year, all the big boys came out and it was an opportunity for all of us to see, like,
Where
where do we
you
all
guys are
sit
really
at?
at on the
Yeah.
West?
What do you need? Like all our machines are doing well at home, but everybody
Um,
doesn't have built motor jixer at home. How many
yeah.
really of us out here that are doing this? Like 15, 20, if that?
Well, it's a very so when you get to like that caliber of bike, right? Like the Samides, the Bretts, man, you guys, Deuce and them over there, like there's a very small group of those guys, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think people understand the amount of money it takes to build a machine.
It's
Like,
outrageous. It's
you know what I'm
outrageous.
saying? Fuck the power. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make it work.
Yeah.
And what did you say earlier? What was the what? How did you put it earlier? It was a great way to put it.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah. Okay, so I was telling you, I live my life by the cost to fun ratio. So if the cost is up here and the fun is down here, it's no good, bro. We're gonna park that one. But if the cost is up here and the fun is pretty close, I'm okay with that. I like racing at a high level, and I know it's gonna be up there. As long as the machine is, you're able to have a good time when you're out, I'm okay with it. But when it's breaking every time you take it out, or it's just endless shit, that's when it's like, all right, I'm gonna step back from this one and we're gonna try something different for a little while.
I hope you guys take that into consideration, man. Like cost to fun ratio is a real thing. You know what I mean? If you're fucking your whole bank account up in your personal life over this bike shit that I don't know what would you say 85-90% of us do for free? That's not
Doing
it,
too
dude.
much, bro. Yeah, doing too much.
You're doing too much, man. Like, and I feel like there's a vast majority of guys that do that, man. And I don't want to see that, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is something a lot of us do as a pastime. We all have lives outside of this. Keep that shit in mind. Like, roll racing is roll racing, bro. It's not the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? And if this is all you got, bro, then you need to find yourself other hobbies, please, because this shit is expensive.
That it
Even to
is.
make your bike look nice, it's expensive at
That
this
it
point.
is.
You know what I'm saying? You know that because BMW tax is a motherfucker.
That it is. Everything's double, bro.
Oh my,
Everything.
oh my God, bro. Like when I got my BMW down to the 350s, I'm like, bro, I feel like I could have gotten any other bike down for half the price. Even my Cowie cost me half the price that I paid for my K46 to get down to the same weight.
I think when I had the biggest thing on is the carbon for the BMW, man. That's what is outrageous, bro. All the carbon parts of the BMW are so expensive, man. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
what it is, bro.
What did you go with for carbon on your bike, by the way? Because you got forged. There's not a lot of forged companies out there.
So the BMW is all fuck RPM.
RPM?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, okay, got you. Yeah, because you don't really see too many forged bikes to the way you got everything fucking forged. It looks pretty fire, bro.
I appreciate it, bro.
It looks pretty fire. It's not something you and your boy that's on your team,
Yeah, yeah, Hellhound.
Helheim has
Yeah,
his is all forged as well, right?
it is. It's a beautiful bike.
Oh my God, dude! Like, man, let me tell you, if you were to sit here, right, and give anyone that has a BMW platform, bro, uh, a quick overview, and they want to get into the roll race scene, would you give your blessing per se as like, hey, it's a great roll race bike, or would you veer them off to something else?
Man, that's a difficult question. So I actually had a guy that came to me about that the other day. I would say the biggest thing about the K67 in general is they blow up stock, man. They love to spin bearings.
Do they
I've
really?
personally, yes, man, I've had it personally happen on 3 engines, spinning rod bearings, right? Tried all different types of oils to maintain it, whatever. So that's the biggest ordeal with the bike for me, is a lot of people having problems with the engines, even in stock form. You
Hold
know,
on, before you
just
go any further, was that on Nitro or just
no, no,
regular?
no. That was stock. That was like fucking pump gas MR12 shit.
Really?
Yes. That, and in fact, that motor, that particular motor that I'm talking about only had 2,500 miles on it. And then I had another motor. So I'll grant it, this particular one, the bottom end was an eBay special. It had like 4,500 miles on it. I had sent that one off to Kevin a few weeks ago, and he broke it down. That one was eating bearings too.
Really?
Yep.
What do you think it is about that? Is that like a flaw from the factory type of deal?
I wish I knew. A lot of the M guys seem to have problems with their motors as well. So I don't know. I just talked it up to being a BMW thing. If you catch it, it's fine. It's no big deal. You can put bearings in it as long as you catch it before it eats. But like because I've had so many problems with it, I stay hyper focused on it, really analyzing the oil every time I drain it. Being that they're on methanol, I drain the oil every time I ride them.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, every time they're out, they come home, they get an oil change, and I'm going through it, checking for any flake. Um, but yeah.
Do
But back
you?
to answer your question though,
Yeah.
the biggest thing I think is the cost point to get in the door with the K67. In my opinion, dollar for dollar, you're not going to go faster on any other platform than a K67 stock motor. That's my opinion. Yeah, your Gixxer will go faster, but it takes some money to get it there with weight reduction, all that other good stuff that goes along it. With it on a BMW, you can stretch it, air filter, put your little stacks in there, titanium exhaust. That bike's gonna run great.
Hmm. Hmm. That's interesting, man. That's interesting. I think you're the first person I've ever heard say that.
About the bearings,
No, that too. That too. I've heard that about ZX10s. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And I know that from personal experience. But yeah, I've never heard that whole bearing thing from a K67. That I'll get back to that. But as far as being cost effective, the K67 being the best bike bolt on, I guess you would say, right?
I
Like
would say, yeah, for sure.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I've never. I feel like a lot of people go, they deviate, and they run towards Jixers for that reason. It's because it's the easiest bike to make power, shed weight, and it's just an easy bike to get to run and go fast type of deal. Same thing with ZX10s, um, because it's the weight thing. I feel like between the three, when I'm talking about stock motor type shit here, right? Bolt on for bolt on, it costs more to shed weight on a BMW, but BMWs probably make the most power stock motor.
I would say yes. Stock,
Okay.
like if we're talking stock, yeah, a BMW.
Hmm. Hmm. They do make some pretty crazy power stock motor, bro.
They
I'm
run well
actually.
from the
Have you
setup.
looked into the new ones at all?
Which ones?
The
Brand new?
new, the 2025.
No, I haven't had my hands on one of those yet. But uh, I would say, even if somebody hit me up for 25 right now, I wouldn't bring it in the door. Woolwich doesn't have the support that's needed for the machines. Even on the 24s, it's hit or miss
So,
on their calibrations and what we have access to be able to edit. And the bottom line is, if you can be the best tuner in the world, but if you don't have access to the tools that you need to be able to
at
do
the
your
support.
job, you can't deliver a great product at the end. And I'll never hand somebody a subpar product for $1. Fuck
Yeah.
that. It's going to be right, or I'm going to tell you straight up, like, it's not.
Do you think that, okay, so we spoke on the K67s, on stock trim. When you start really getting into them, right, and you start building them, do you feel like there's a cap, or do you feel like you should still, and of course this boils down to a money thing, but do you think they're worth building for someone that wants a fast bike, but maybe not to the caliber of a stroker?
No, I don't. I say that anything past the bolt-on deal is somebody that has expendable money that's okay with shit fucking up.
Mm,
Because that tends to be the reality with them. Is that you just got to be okay that they're gonna mess the head cam stuff. It's fine, no problems out of that. But anything beyond that, and even the head cam, like yeah, it runs great. But bro, in my opinion, I don't think that it's the most cost-effective thing. It's kind of like, yeah, you want more power out of your BMW, we can achieve it, we can get it there, but you know, I feel like when we start talking about the strokers and the BMW thing, that's an expendable money situation there. It's not
100%.
something I will recommend.
No, 100%. I agree with you there, bro. So, okay, so let me ask you some nitro questions here,
Go
right?
ahead, let's shoot for
So you get into this nitro, right? When you started getting into it, right, with your Jixer and your, uh, is the Jixer gonna be on nitro or no? Is
yeah,
that something you want to disclose?
the Jicker's on Nitro as well. They're both on Nitro.
You're a bold guy, man. You're a bold guy. Okay, so you get into that. Was it like once you started tuning on nitro, it was like I'm never fucking going back to anything else ever again?
Bro, it circles right back around to that conversation we just had. As soon as I feel it, I don't never want to go back. I don't never want less. I only want
Bro,
more. That's it.
that's so dangerous, bro.
It's
That's
bro,
so
it's
fucking
okay
dangerous.
with Nitro though, it's even more dangerous because it's literally as simple as how big are your nuts. All you got to do
Yeah,
is tip the can a little bit more. It'll make a little bit more power, but are you willing to risk it? It might blow up under you, the tank might blow up between your legs. Like, are you willing to risk it? For me, the answer is yes. For most people, the answer is probably no. I like the rush from that. It's like the conversation we had the other day, bro, where some people have that thrill of running from the cops or this or that. Everybody has their little thing they like to do on the bikes. For
yeah.
me, it's putting all my money, all my knowledge, all my everything into this machine. I know that I gave this bike 110%, and I'm going to go make this pass right now. And the feeling that I get after that successful pass, that's my thrill. But
Mhm.
if I keep making that successful pass, right, I already know the machine's good. I already know it's capable of making that pass. Now I want to push a little bit farther and see. And that's where I get into my problems too, because one thing that I've really tried to focus on this year is not just about the power, but like we talked about earlier, making sure the machine works. Because the more power it makes, the more issues they bring to the table. And we can make all the horsepower in the world. If we can't get it down the street, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. So for you, right? Because I think when people think of just racing in general, right? They equate success to power, as we
Yeah.
just spoke on off camera.
How
That
much power does it make? What did it make on the dyno?
doesn't fucking matter.
That's
Does
it.
it go
Yep.
down the road?
What did it run on the draggy? That's all I care about. What did the draggy say? Because the bottom line is that dyno got a tune just like your bike did. Your bike may make 275 on MWP's dyno, and then you come over to my bike, same everything. Let's just say it's the same weather, same time, same everything. Might make 290, might make 255. Every dyno is different. But what
Yeah,
did it run on the draggy? Because
yeah.
that's going to tell us, are you fast?
Mm. and then you go from there because the draggy only does so much, right? Because the
That's right.
draggy,
That's right. A draggy will only let us get the machine. It will tell us when we've reached the peak of the machine.
yeah,
But now, beyond that, now we got to get you out there racing, and then the rider error and all that stuff comes into play.
1000%, yeah, and it's got to work,
For sure. For
which
sure,
is the
but
most
but
important
it
thing.
working will show on the drag. So that's what I use my draggy for mainly is the machine working?
Okay.
Pulling the gearing. Did it pick up? Is it spinning? Watching the graph, doing all that good stuff to see, is it actually holding it down? And is it consistent? Because if I can run a 230, a 240 one time, that's great. But can I do it back to back?
Mm, that works. So my next question to you is right, what do you think? All right, when it comes to standalones, when do you feel like standalones is an absolute necessity for you?
I would say, bro, that's more a question about what is the customer's end goal with the bike. Because if you're not interested in racing at the highest caliber, that's probably not an investment that you need to make. I can achieve a lot on a stock computer. We can go pretty far on a stock computer, but whenever you're getting into I mean, great example, me racing Brett, where I'm having trouble getting the bike down the road. When you have a computer on that can help you out in those scenarios where you're on a shitty surface and you need a
Yeah,
little help getting down it, that is definitely a scenario where that ECU comes into play and it will help you achieve what you're trying to. But if you're just the guy that wants to make a bunch of power and go out and bust people up and you're okay with taking that L every now and then maybe we don't need to make that huge investment on your bike.
that's a big investment, man.
It is. It is.
It's a big investment, man. Standalones are extremely, extremely expensive, but they make a world of a difference, especially when you're racing in the caliber of the guys that you want to race with.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I think that um, I think it's very interesting um, how guys maneuver when it comes to that, right? Because I don't know how familiar you are with grudge racing, right? Them guys, there is no pockets. It is what it is.
That's right.
It's gonna be what it is, right? Like they're willing to go all or nothing. You know what I'm saying with those bikes, as opposed to roll racing where it's a vast majority. I would say 70%. Of these guys, uh, they're on a stock motor or stock motor ish, and they're in a place where okay, well, you know, and of course, right? It's funny because in all this, Justin, man, there's a lot of variables to all this, right? Like when it comes to just racing in general. You got weight, you got fuel, you got bike weight, you got, of course, tuner's a tuner, man. Like, that's gonna be what it is. That's a personal preference. Um, but when you get to like a stage like Vegas, right? You show up to Vegas, bro. You shouldn't be fucking playing around,
That's right.
dude. You know what I'm saying? That's like me and Reap. Like this shit is like the Super Bowl of roll racing over here, bro.
It
Like
is. It
this is,
is.
you know what I'm saying? Like I can't, bro. I had so much fun, and I didn't even have my fucking bike there. I still like to this. I did a lot of running around, bro, and stuff like that. But still, like if I had that much fun, right, without the stress, because there's a lot of stress when you have your bike there, dude.
That it is, bro.
You know what I'm saying? To perform, even if you have a stock motor bike, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like strip, I don't strip to the max. It's stress bringing your bike to Vegas. Anybody that, you bring your bike to Vegas, understand you're gonna be under extreme stress because, we all got egos to some extent, right? Like, and you don't want
Nobody
to,
wants to lose. Yeah, we definitely didn't drive out there to lose.
you
But
know what I'm
somebody's gonna
saying?
do it.
So,
Somebody's
exactly.
gonna do it.
Exactly. So you're not trying to get your ass whooped every pass. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely a stress factor there, bro. So any of you guys that are planning on taking a trip, just make sure your shit is solid all the way around because Vegas is no joke. The shit that I've seen over there, lose some weight if you're my weight, or you know what I'm saying, have a jockey with you because it's ugly out there.
You're coming
There's
with it.
You know, unless you drive a booster, because I felt like a lot of the booster guys over there were bigger guys. You know, shout
Yeah,
out to
for
Reap, man.
sure.
Reap was all excited because there was boosters out there representing. Although this year it seems like there's gonna be a lot of boosters coming out on some real serious shit.
Yeah, it's looking like it.
It's looking like it. How do you feel about the booster platform, actually? Since we're
I
on
don't
that,
like working on them. I enjoy working on them, but it's never been a bike that I care for personally. I don't like all that mass under me.
it's a lot of bike, bro.
It's
It's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
bike, bro. I'm a smaller guy. I don't prefer it.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of bike, bro. I can't fuck with boosters, but Reap loves them, and I think all the complaining he did online with our podcast warranted a lot of guys out here sending their shit to Carpenter to get built, which I'm not too happy about. But it
It is
is
what
what
it
it is.
is.
It is what it is. So for this year, off camera, we were talking about you really wanted to focus on the K67 platform. What is it that makes you want to really focus in and hone in on that platform to be able to, uh, kind of approve yourself, I guess, as far as just all around tuning, building, and so on and so forth.
I would say, bro, that probably comes back to a passion thing. I just have a passion for that particular bike. Don't get me wrong, I love my Gixxer as well, but the BMW, I like challenges. I like, for whatever reason, bro, I like to struggle. I like to figure things out. I like that gratification at the end of, that wasn't easy, but I did it. I fought through that. I figured it out. I guess in some way, it makes me feel like a badass or whatever you want to call it. Like if you struggled and you had to earn it, you gain
Hmm.
knowledge along the way, all those good things that come with it. And that particular bike always checks all those boxes for me. It was always a problem to figure out.
Bro, I think that to be able to take the role that you take and perspective that you take, bro, I'm glad that we got to have the conversation we did the other day, bro, because, for me at least, like it did a lot for me, bro, to be able to at least hash out the conversation that we had in the world of roll racing. Um, there's not a lot of people that really want to hash out differences, bro, or even have that kind of conversation. You know what I'm
For
saying? And Justin, you're a fucking stand up guy, bro. I wish nothing but the best for you in what you do. I think the K67 platform is a very interesting platform for you. Um, if you had to sit here and let the masses know, um, what do you feel like you bring to the table when it comes to the BMW platform?
Mm, what makes me different, bro? Man, I'm not one of those people that likes to like compare myself to everyone else that's going on. I can tell you, I'm the type of guy that does the best possible job I can do every time. I'm a perfectionist. If you're trying to go fast, I'm trying to go fast too. So I would think
Uh,
overall, what I bring to the table is more of like a package ordeal. Um, just trying. We both have the end goal, bro. We want to be fast. I want to make you fast. I want to see you fast. And it comes back to that relationship still. Just an overall good experience for the both of us.
got you, got you. Hey, man, and you know what, bro? Like, for someone that like understands the game that we're in, and just in general in motorsports, bro, like having someone that's genuine and stand behind their work means a lot, and hopefully some of the younger crowd understands that sometimes it's not the best decision to jump from shop to shop. Sometimes the loyalty aspect and really holding your tuner down and believing in the tuner that you have is your best option, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's two sides to that story, bro. I would say the better deal there is finding somebody that you connect with that's genuine, whoever that is, bro. Finding
Mm,
somebody that connects with that you both can see your end goal.
yeah,
It's not a money grab because you get locked in with somebody that it's just about a money grab. You're never going to be satisfied at the end of the day. It's
I
about
agree.
giving you money. I want somebody that's invested in my machine. Like even dealing with Kevin over at KWS, I know that whenever we're putting something together, it's a team effort. I know he's going to give me all that he's got. He knows I'm going to give him all that I got. And we can, if we're having issues with the bike or we're trying to achieve
Figure it out
something
together.
with the bike, yeah, we can jump on a conversation together and we can figure out how to achieve what we want. And
Yeah.
finding people like that, that's the bigger thing. Finding somebody you can lock in with and build with.
Bro, that was well said, bro. That was well said. Yo, Justin, bro, thank you very much, bro. I appreciate your time, bro. You are fucking welcome to come on whenever the fuck you want, brother. Um, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. And bro, thank you very much for your time, man. I know you're a busy guy, and shout out to you, salute to you, and your tuning. And I hope nothing but the best for you this year, bro.
I appreciate it, bro. Looking forward to all the events, man. I'll see you in California.
Will do, brother. I'll see you soon.
All right, later, bro.